this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
I can't stop scratching my downtown. Yeah, but I'm not itching to go downtown and tell a receptionist I'm here to talk about my downtown. Some things you'd rather type than say out loud.
There's no question too embarrassing for Amazon Health AI. Chat your symptoms and get virtual care 24/7. Healthcare just got less painful.
This is Red Pilled America.
It's time to tell our side of the story, but we need your help. Please share, like, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to it. And please, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us beat the big tech algorithm. Also, if you love Red Pilled America, please consider becoming a Backstage subscriber.
You'll get ad-free access to our entire back catalog of episodes, over 230 stories. Just visit redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top of the menu.
Support what you love, or it goes away.
I'd never felt the way I felt when I placed my eyes on this gorgeous creature. Previously on Red Pilled America.
He said, "Damn!" And I liked it.
I asked to take her out on a date. She said yes. A band was coming to perform in our little neck of the woods.
I remember us being like, what? Marky Mark is going to be at the Strand, like right here in the South Bay?
I took off the jean jacket and Patrick looks over at me and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you're wearing a bra?" And I said, "It's not a bra, it's a bustier."
And then Marky Mark saw Adriana and it was over.
I remember Adriana getting pulled up to the stage.
And I'm up there just for a couple of seconds when all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
I became a beer bottle flinging madman. I'm Patrick Corelchi.
And I'm Adriana Cortez.
And this is Red Pilled America, a storytelling show.
This is not another talk show covering the day's news. We're all about telling stories.
Stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear.
Stories the media mocks. Stories about everyday Americans that the globalists ignore.
You can think of Red Pilled America as audio documentaries, and we promise only one thing: the truth. Welcome to Red Pilled America. We're at part 2 of our series of episodes entitled One Hit Wonder. You've probably heard part 1, but if you haven't, stop and go back and listen from the beginning. We're looking for the answer to the question, what kind of men do women want? By telling the story of how a young man was faced with the very real possibility of losing his new girlfriend to an international ladies' man, and what he did to win her over. So in part 1, we learned that yours truly met Adriana at a 1991 Halloween party. It was love at first sight, and I began doing things that I'd never done before nor since. I catcalled her, and even sat her on my lap. But foolishly, I didn't get her number before the end of the night. I had to wait 7 months before seeing her again, but when I did, I made sure to get her digits. After a long phone call on our first date, AJ, as she was called by her friends, became my chica. I wanted her to become familiar with my crew, and most importantly my sister, so I looked for an event to bring everyone together, and I found it. A one-hit wonder was making his way to our sleepy suburb, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. The hip-hop band's lead, Mark Wahlberg, had become an international sex symbol after being cast in a series of underwear ads for Calvin Klein. I bought tickets to the event, and AJ and her best friend Lisa, my sister Denise, and the rest of our posse met at my house. AJ showed up looking gorgeous, but understated. But as we got in the car, she removed her jacket, revealing her real concert attire. AJ was wearing a bustier, a bra-like top popularized by Madonna. Apparently, her look was a hit because Marky Mark saw AJ dancing on a table and pulled her up onto the stage. That's when I did the third thing I hadn't done before nor since. I jumped onto the venue tables and began hurling bottles at Marky Mark. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the move was dumb for more than the obvious reasons, because instead of AJ being escorted off stage into my arms, she was rushed backstage with the shirtless one-hit wonder. The event was immediately shut down, and our posse of friends gathered in the parking lot to exchange stories of what just happened. I asked Lisa what she remembers about gathering in the parking lot.
we were in the back. So it's now me and you and all your friends. And I was like, didn't know what to do. I was like, because nothing was calming you down. You were pissed.
But as we waited, 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes, turned to 20 minutes, and AJ was still nowhere to be found. My anger gradually turned into fear. I wasn't really concerned that AJ was canoodling with Marky Mark because, truth be told, she wasn't even canoodling with me yet. The bustier was really false advertising. So my fear was more that she was either in deep conversation with the lead singer of the Funky Bunch, or she wasn't safe, and Lisa was feeling it as well.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was a nervous wreck because I'm like, where's my best friend?
So as Denise and the rest of the crew exchanged stories of the night, Lisa and I were scanning the crowd desperately seeking AJ. She was still nowhere to be found.
And so I'm backstage, and I'm probably back there for, I'm going to say, 20 minutes. That's how long it took me to get out, because backstage, it seemed to be even larger than the front of the house. It was very, very large. So I make my way out. I have to go all the way around.
AJ came out where we were parked, kind of. She came out some back or side door.
AJ exited from the talent entrance, clearly indicating that she was backstage with the Funky Bunch.
She thought she was going to come out of that door and we were going to be like, oh my God, are you okay? I don't think she realized that it was you that started the whole thing, because she was up on stage with that guy with 12 abs.
Lisa was right.
I had no idea what had happened and why I had been herded backstage. I thought that maybe some Crips and Bloods had showed up and that shots were fired. I definitely did not think that my adorable and perfect boyfriend, who had his head screwed on so tightly the right way, had anything to do with it. I'm still thinking, like, everything's fine. You know, Patrick is not upset. Why would he be upset? He wanted me to dance up on the table, you know, with his sister. We were bonding. I mean, he was a one-hit wonder. I wasn't going to, like, get down. I wasn't going to get with somebody that was going to be a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? I was dating an engineer major. Damn it.
So AJ had no idea I was pissed that she was dancing on stage with an international sex symbol.
It felt like a lifetime before AJ came out of that door. It literally felt like a lifetime.
And then when I finally find Lisa and Patrick, they're standing there and they're with all of Patrick's friends. And I'm thinking that they're going to be so happy to finally see me. Like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What's happened? Where were you? What took you so long? So I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, you're not going to believe this. I was lost backstage and blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, okay, well, you know, we got to go.
But once I realized AJ was okay, and she wasn't now part of the Funky Bunch, my fear flipped back to anger. Or maybe it was embarrassment.
And Patrick looks over at me and he goes, well, find your own ride, because I'm not giving you a ride home. Let's go, Lisa.
Lisa remembers the same thing.
Okay, then we played tug of war of Lisa. Because you said, come on, Lisa, and AJ's off. No, she's not going with you. Because you said AJ cannot, she needs to find her own way home. You don't care. She could stay there. Marky Mark could take her home, whatever. You didn't care at that point. You were done.
And I was completely flabbergasted. I had no idea why he was angry.
I truly don't think AJ completely understood what you were mad at. But then when we were outside, you were like, you like act like you get on stage with him, and she's like, oh my God, I'm just like dancing and da da da. And then you're like, and then you leave with him, and she's all, I got pulled.
So Patrick was furious. He was livid, and I was like, oh gosh, he's really pissed. And of course, Lisa was never, ever going to go home with him and, you know, leave me stranded.
And she's all, fine. Come on, Lisa. You're all, no, I have a responsibility to make sure Lisa gets home okay. I didn't know what to do. I was like, uh-oh, this is terrible.
At the time, I'd known Lisa for about 5 years, which seems like dog years at that age. I mean, it was practically a quarter of my life, so we went way back. But there was no way in hell she was leading her middle school BFF to fend for herself. It was about that time that my sister stepped in to end the ridiculousness.
And that's when Denise was like, I will take them home.
So Denise was like, oh gosh, Patrick, who cares? Big deal. Come on, AJ, get in the car with me. I'll give you a ride home. And my car home basically meant back at their house, because they still lived at home with their mom, and that's where my car was parked. So Lisa and I jump in Denise's car. She drove a blue Jetta, and it was her and 2 other friends. So we all pile in her car.
And that marked the end of our big night at the Strand. My hopes of us all coming together crash-landed. And all because of that damn bustier. It was like Frodo's ring. It was hypnotic, mesmerizing. But once it was revealed, men would bite off a finger or throw a beer bottle to get it. As we parted ways, I was still upset with AJ, but secretly happy that her and her bustier were safely leaving with my sister. Because the night ended early, our little posse went to grab something to eat, and we hung out shooting the shit late into the night. When I got home, my sister's car was there, and AJ's was gone. I thought about waking my sister up and asking her if AJ was upset about our fight, but instead I let her sleep. I can still remember going to bed daydreaming that Adriana hurried home to cry into her pillow over the prospect of losing me. Why did I go on stage? What have I done? I thought she must have been thinking. I went to bed firm in the belief that she left the concert thinking that she was on the verge of losing the guy that was going places over a few fleeting moments with a one-hit wonder. But little did I know that AJ's pillow would not be soaked in tears that night.
So then when you guys took off, we got in Denise's car, and then they said, "What hotel are they at?"
All right, if you guys know anything about me, you know that I am crazy about my dogs. And let me tell you something. My English Bulldog Pablo had been suffering with the worst skin allergies. And then I started giving him Rough Greens in his food, and boy, what a difference that made. This stuff is amazing. Now Pablo is a Rough Greens dog for life. Rough Greens supports long-term health by providing live, bioavailable nutrients, including essential vitamins, minerals, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega oils. Rough Greens promotes longevity by addressing common nutritional deficiencies found in processed dog food. I don't just recommend Rough Greens, I depend on it to keep my dogs happy and healthy. Traditional dog food is shelf-stable for years because it's lifeless. Rough Greens brings the nutrition back, packed with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega oils. Rough Greens isn't dog food. It's a live nutritional supplement you add to your dog's food. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's that easy, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Don't change your dog's food, just add Rough Greens. Rough Greens is offering a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover shipping. Use discount code RPA to claim your free Jumpstart trial bag at roughgreens.com. That's RUFF greens.com, promo code RPA. So don't change your dog's food, just add Rough Greens and watch the health benefits come alive.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
I can't stop scratching my downtown. Yeah, but I'm not itching to go downtown and tell a receptionist I'm here to talk about my downtown. Some things you'd rather type than say out loud.
There's no question too embarrassing for Amazon Health AI. Chat your symptoms and get virtual care 24/7. Healthcare just got less painful.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Anti-Semitism is continuing to rise around the world every day, and the Jewish people continue to pay the price. From growing threats against Jewish communities to acts of violence, harassment, and intimidation, many Jewish families are living with fear simply because they're Jewish. Synagogues, schools, and community centers continue strengthening security as hatred spreads far beyond the headlines. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is working every day in Israel and around the world, providing security, emergency assistance, food, and critical care for vulnerable Jewish communities. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has stood alongside the Jewish people, delivering practical support when it is needed the most. Hatred continues to spread, but compassion and action can make a huge difference. So join me in joining the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the safety of the Jewish people. Pray for peace in Israel and for an end to anti-Semitism. Together, we can remind God's people that they are not alone. So stand with Israel in prayer today by visiting prayifcj.org. That's pray, P-R-A-Y, ifcj.org.
Welcome back. So my sister Denise broke the impasse and told AJ and Lisa that she'd give them a ride back to our house. I went off to grab a bite to eat with my friends, and by the time I got home, Denise was asleep and AJ's car was nowhere to be seen. I thought for sure AJ went home to cry herself to sleep over the prospects of losing her engineer major. But what I didn't know is that AJ's pillow would not be soaked in tears that night. So I woke up the next morning still angry at AJ for jumping on stage with the global face of Calvin Klein. But there was a silver lining. Now I had the upper hand. The relationship may have been young, but I already knew that this was a feisty girl that likes to get her way. I'd be able to ride the wave of her bustier debacle to get what I wanted for at least a couple weeks, I foolishly thought. When Denise woke up, I remember asking her casually about how the ride home went. She was my sister, but I was still at the age where I wanted to play it cool.
You definitely were head over heels for her, and AJ was definitely special because I remember the next day going, I don't want to tell him.
Wait, what? Sensing there was more to the story, I pressed my little sister. That's when Denise spilled the beans, and when she did, my jaw hit the floor. Almost 30 years later, I'm still just beginning to hear the whole story.
So Lisa and I jump in Denise's car, and it was her and two other friends. So we all pile in her car, and they couldn't believe that I went backstage. They were like, what happened backstage? Oh my gosh, what happened? Did you talk to Marky Mark? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. So I said, yeah, I did. I was trying to be very casual because here I am talking to my boyfriend's sister, and I don't want to give, this idea that I'm interested in Marky Mark, which I absolutely was not.
It turns out that AJ was not wandering aimlessly backstage the entire time. In fact, the leader of the Funky Bunch tracked her down.
And when I first got backstage, I was completely disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. And I was nervous because here I am backstage with all of these strange men that I don't know. And to know me is to know that I'm very, very cautious. I'm not the kind of person to, go be around a bunch of strange men in a strange room. But when I got backstage, it was huge. It was giant. And I could not find my way out. So there I was, running for my life backstage with the Funky Bunch when Marky Mark turns around and I catch his eye. And he basically comes and he gets me. And he says to me, that was crazy. You okay? Hey, I'm staying at the Hyatt on Sunset. He was very nice and obviously he was attractive, but I did not want to feel his vibrations. I only wanted to feel Patrick's vibrations.
The night was still young, and AJ just divulged to a car of 20-year-old young ladies that they had an open invitation to party with Marky Mark. Now, if you're familiar with the location of the concert, buried in the heart of the South Bay, you'd know that there isn't a freeway anywhere near the neighborhood, by design. The locals limited access to keep the outsiders out. The girls would need to make the long trek first to the freeway, then Hollywood.
We contemplated in the car, because here we are deep in South Redondo, and we got to drive all the way to LA, and we're like, yeah, it's worth it. Let's go.
And immediately the girls, Denise and her friends, were like, let's go to the Hyatt on Sunset. And I said, no. You got to take me to my car. No, your brother is furious.
And not throwing Denise under the table, but she was like, he'll get over it. Who cares? Let's go. Like, how many chances do we get to go see Marky Mark? Like,
Yeah, we wanted to be around Marky Mark,
And Lisa was really the voice of reason there because she had been standing with Patrick the entire time that I was missing backstage. So she knew that he was hot. He was livid. So Lisa's like, no. We can't go, dude. We got to go back to the car.
I mean, I should have been the voice of reason being your sister, but the bad influence I am. Like, come on, AJ. It's just a party.
But Denise and her friends look at me and they said, well, no, you have to come with us. Otherwise, how are we going to get in? They're not going to know to let us in. You have to come with us. And again, you have to remember, I really wanted Denise to like me. And I felt like I hadn't done anything wrong. So obviously Patrick was going to get over it. Nothing had happened. So I said, all right, I guess I'll go.
Lisa explained to me what happened next.
I think it was a Hyatt on Sunset, wasn't it?
Oh, you mean it was down in L.A.?
Yeah, it was in L.A.
Oh, it was. Why did I think it was in... all this time, I thought it was in Redondo Beach.
No.
So you guys drove all the way out to Hollywood for those fools?
Yes. And I do it again.
I can laugh at it now, but as my sister told me this on our living room couch the next morning, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. When she left the Strand, I was sure AJ went straight home to cry herself to sleep. But in fact, she did quite the opposite. She was living La Vida Loca in the heart of La La Land. So the girls made the long drive up to the Hyatt on Sunset, now called the Andaz West Hollywood, and at first sight, it wasn't what they expected. Again, my sister Denise.
We drove all the way out to LA, and we get to the hotel, and then I remember they made it sound like it was going to be a party, like an after party.
There was girls all over the place there. There was like groupies.
There were groupies there.
The Hyatt on Sunset was known for accommodating tour bands and was affectionately called the Riot House for the rock and roll debauchery that took place on site. Everyone from the Rolling Stones to the Doors, Led Zeppelin, and The Who raised hell at that hotel, some even trashing rooms and throwing TVs from the balcony. Its reputation was cemented when the 1984 rock mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap filmed a poolside scene on its rooftop.
There were definitely groupies there, and I was dorked out. I just thought it was so dorky. Because you have to remember that I had friends who had been in the business and that were doing well in the business. So I had always had access to celebrities and to getting into VIP situations. And I was never, ever a groupie. And I thought groupies were just disgusting. Like to be a groupie was like the lowest of the low. So we get there and there's definitely groupies there trying to get up, but we somehow managed to get ourselves upstairs.
So we got in the elevator
and we end up in a hotel room, which is just like a regular hotel room with like 2 queen beds. It was a small room. It was not fancy at all. In fact, I remember thinking like, wow, this is a pretty shitty room.
And so we get to the hotel and there's like 2 guys in a hotel room, and I'm picturing like a suite or something. And it was just like 1 bed in there, or maybe even 2 double beds. And they just, go in here and we'll be ready. And there's like 2 guys. We're like, okay, where's Marky Mark? Where's the party?
And there's a couple people in there with a couple of bodyguards, and they offered us drinks. And some of the girls had some drinks. I did not partake. Neither did Lisa. Because now I'm like, oh, no, this is not a good situation. I'm in a hotel room. I'm in someone's hotel room. And that was just like a no-no. You don't go to a man's hotel room unless, you want to put out a certain message like, hey, I want to get down with you. And I did not want to get down with him or the Funky Bunch.
And we're just sitting there on the bed for maybe, to me, it seemed like it was only like 2 minutes because we were all kind of creeped out.
And then there was just girls like trying to get in, like it was weird because we're not groupies. So it was like, this is kind of dorky. That's how I kind of felt. And I think Adriana felt the same thing.
So we're in the crappy hotel room, and first the Funky Bunch shows up. They come in, and, they're like, I think they're super, super cool. And I'm like, oh my God, these guys are dorks. What are we doing here? Well, we gotta go.
And then we walked out. We said, we're leaving. If he's not coming and there's no party, we're leaving. So we left the room.
And then after a few minutes, Marky Mark makes his entrance.
He had to make his grand entrance, like Marky Mark's coming.
Marky Mark is here!
First we got the Funky Bunch. Then came Marky Mark.
And then he comes walking down the hallway out of another room. And he just kind of says hi. And he looked wasted. No shirt on.
And he doesn't have a shirt on. And he's wearing really baggy jeans that are, very low on his hips. And you can see his underwear strap, his Calvins. and he's drunk. He's definitely drunk. He's had way, way too much to drink. And he thinks that his shit does not stink. And that I'm going to be so grateful to be there with him. He thinks, this is a done deal here. This girl's here. And I'm thinking, you're a dork. You're a one-hit wonder. This is not going to happen. So he's chatting me up, and I'm super uncomfortable because Denise is there. She's my boyfriend's sister. So then all of a sudden, Marky Mark says to me, hey, why don't you stay? And then one of the other funky bunchers wanted one of Denise's friends to stay. And then, we'll give you guys a ride home later or tomorrow morning. And I was like, no. Like, what? Is this guy insane? He thinks I'm going to spend the night with him? No. So that's when I just said, we're leaving, wrap it up, let's go. And Lisa was like, good, dude. Yeah, we got to get out of here. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here? What are they going to think about us? They're going to think that, we're sluts. I can't believe we're in this room, this crappy hotel room with this one-hit wonder.
We're just, okay, see ya. We're out of here. It was just too creepy.
I don't know why I was so appalled. Clearly he thought it was a done deal because I'd gone there willingly to his hotel room, and my bustier was packing some serious heat, and it was practically screaming, look at me, because my jean jacket was still in Patrick's car. And we were, walking down in the parking lot, and we were almost to Denise's car, when one of the Funky Bunch guys, the guy that actually liked one of Denise's friends and wanted her to stay, the other potential hookup, he comes running down.
Every site you visit, every search you type, every public Wi-Fi network you connect to leaves a record, and that record gets collected, packaged, and sold. Surfshark deals with that. You probably know of them from the VPN, which encrypts your entire connection under a strict, independently audited no-logs policy and also lets you get around geo-restrictions while traveling or streaming. They've built a full security suite around it. The ad and tracker blocker shuts down the profiling that follows you around from site to site. And Surfshark Alert watches your email, your passwords, even your credit card turning up in a breach, and tells you the moment it happens. Secure your entire digital life with Surfshark. It's completely risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to surfshark.com/RPA or use code RPA at checkout for 4 extra months of Surfshark. Again, that's surfshark.com/RPA, code RPA.
Amazon Pharmacy presents Painful Thoughts.
It's been a long, bumpy road dealing with yet another bladder infection. And driving to the pharmacy to pick up meds, I went over a pothole and a little pee came out. So now I get to stand in line with pee-pee pants.
Next time, skip the pain and get fast, free delivery with Amazon Pharmacy. Healthcare just got less painful.
Anti-Semitism is continuing to rise around the world every day, and the Jewish people continue to pay the price. From growing threats against Jewish communities to acts of violence, harassment, and intimidation, many Jewish families are living with fear simply because they're Jewish. Synagogues, schools, and community centers continue strengthening security as hatred spreads far beyond the headlines. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is working every day in Israel and around the world, providing security, emergency assistance, food, and critical care for vulnerable Jewish communities. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has stood alongside the Jewish people, delivering practical support when it is needed the most. Hatred continues to spread, but compassion and action can make a huge difference. So join me in joining the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the safety of the Jewish people. Pray for peace in Israel and for an end to anti-Semitism. Together, we can remind God's people that they are not alone. So stand with Israel in prayer today by visiting prayifcj.org. That's pray, P-R-A-Y, ifcj.org.
Do you want to hear Red Pilled America stories ad-free? Then become a Backstage subscriber. Just log on to redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top menu. Join today and help us save America one story at a time.
Welcome back to Red Pilled America. So my sister, AJ, and their posse went to what they thought was a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch party. But when they got to the hotel, there were groupies everywhere, and there really wasn't a party. After Marky Mark made his big shirtless entrance, they all decided to get the hell out of there.
And we were, walking down in the parking lot, and we were almost at Denise's car, when one of the Funky Bunch guys, the guy that actually liked one of Denise's friends and wanted her to stay, the other potential hookup, he comes running down to, I think he must have wanted to get Denise's friend's phone number. And then he came over to me and he said, "Hey, Mark wants your number. Can you give it to him?" And I said, "Sure." So he hands me over a pen and a piece of paper. And Lisa is shooting daggers at me from her eyes. She's like, "What are you doing? Oh my gosh, his sister's gonna see you. He's a total dork. He's a one-hit wonder. What are you doing? Oh my gosh."
So that's when the line of the century came.
And I took the piece of paper and I wrote, "You can give me a call at 818-919-NEVERMIND or 1-800-NO-THANKS." And then I handed him the paper and I left.
To her credit, the bustier-wearing West Covina girl gave the international sex symbol the straight arm.
So we drove back to Patrick and Denise's house, and I got in my car. Lisa and I just got in our car and we left. And I thought that Patrick was inside, in his room, crying his eyes out over me. And I thought, I'm just going to let him cool off.
As Denise spilled the beans, she assured me that nothing happened and that obviously my new girlfriend was in love with me. Her story all made sense. After the Strand, I'd stayed out for a couple hours, and by the time that I got home, Denise was already at home in bed and AJ was gone. So they couldn't have been out that long. And now knowing that they went all the way out to Hollywood, they must have only been there for a few minutes. I trusted my sister implicitly, but at the time I gave AJ a call to test that she'd give me the full scoop, and she did. And it was hard to stay mad at her. AJ in a bustier was simply too powerful for any one man to resist, even an international sex symbol. Just like Frodo's ring, the bustier became too much of a burden for even my little Kardashian hobbit. She retired it forever. The night may have been a bust, but after talking to AJ, I could tell that she liked the fact that I was willing to shut down a concert over little old her. And truth be told, I was flattered that she chose me over the international sex symbol. And lucky for her, she made her selection long before I became a massive podcast star. Come to think of it, I'm not really sure whatever happened to that one-hit wonder. Lisa seems to think he went into the food business.
But she chose you, Patrick. You. Adriana could have had Marky Mark. She would have owned a chain of hamburger stores right now. She picked the right guy.
Which leads us back to the question, what kind of men do women want? I can speak for myself and for the countless women I've asked about this topic. And the unanimous answer is, despite what Hollywood and the advertising industry wants you to believe, women do not want girly men. We want men that will fight for us, who will protect and provide for us. And not because we're incapable, but because the natural roles of men and women matter. Women want manly men. When that one-hit wonder swooped in on me, I didn't even flinch. The thought of him and I having some sort of a rendezvous never even entered my mind. I had my guy. But in my defense, I had no idea Marky Mark would go on to be a bona fide A-list celebrity. Nonetheless, I wouldn't trade in my adorable C-list podcasting engineering major husband for anyone. He was made for me, and I was made for him. I knew it then, and I know it now.
As it turns out, toxic masculinity has its place. AJ and I recovered from the night of the bustier because I showed I was willing to fight for her love. Over the following years, we had our ups and downs. We broke up a couple times, only to find each other again just at the right moment. But that's a story for another time. We ended up marrying about 10 years after AJ retired her bustier. I no longer disparage Marky Mark's musical career because we too became one-hit wonders, and AJ gave birth to our one hit. Say hi, honey.
Hi!
We didn't have another hit in us, but maybe we'll be lucky enough to extend our success into other areas, just like the frontman of the Funky Bunch.
Red Pilled America is an iHeartRadio original podcast. It's owned and produced by Patrick Corelchi and me, Adriana Cortez of Informed Ventures. Now you can get ad-free access to our entire archive of episodes by becoming a Backstage subscriber. To subscribe, visit redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top menu. Thanks for listening.